Just settle yourself comfortably and take a slow, deep breath, holding it for a moment, then breathing out slowly, and allow yourself to be as relaxed as you want to be. Allow your eyes to close whenever you want to, and let all the muscles in your face become so lazy that you can actually feel them settling and smoothing out. That's a good feeling when you allow your face muscles to relax like that, because it tells your subconscious that you're in a place of total safety, that it's all right for your whole body to be as relaxed as you want it to be, no more and no less. And it may be that you'll be able to relax more than ever before, and that's good. And if you only relax just a little, that's fine too. And whatever you choose, you'll soon be aware of a sense of well-being and calmness. And you can let any troubles, any cares, just drift away from you as you allow yourself simply to drift to a special place where there are no troubles and cares, a special place where there is only calmness and comfort and easiness that can fill every pore, every fibre, every cell of your entire body. And you can scan your mind through your body, and every time you find a trace of tension, just let it go. Let it go and replace it with an easy calm in your neck and shoulders, in your arms and hands, right down to the very tip of each finger and the tip of each thumb, in the muscles of your body, in your legs, just allowing relaxation to flow all around your ankles and heels, all the way down to the very tip of each toe, so that very soon you'll find yourself to be as comfortable as you could ever wish to be, just letting your thoughts drift, and maybe allowing your conscious thoughts to just stop for one split second in time, just for one split second in time, allowing your conscious thoughts to just stop, so that your subconscious mind can get on with the business of helping you to feel the best you can ever feel, without conscious interference. Because that subconscious of yours knows exactly the way to help you feel as good as you can feel. And now you're so beautifully relaxed, nobody wanting anything, nobody expecting anything, and absolutely nothing whatsoever for you to do except to relax. I want you to just let your mind and your imagination drift, feeling lazy, easy and comfortable. And I want you to imagine that you're standing on the terrace of a lovely old house, a house like a stately home or country mansion, and you can feel the sun on your head and shoulders. Not too hot, just comfortable. And there's a gentle breeze playing against your skin. As you look around you, you notice an elegant marble flight of steps. 10 broad steps leading down into a beautiful sunken garden. A garden where you sense peace, well-being and comfort. Make it really vivid in your mind. In a moment, I'm going to count down from 10 down to 0. And as I count all the way down, from 10 down to 0, I want you to imagine that each number is a step down on this beautiful staircase. A step down towards this beautiful garden, and each step you take is another step down into deeper and even deeper levels of relaxation, so that by the time I get to 0, you will be as deeply relaxed as you can ever imagine, while still being able to hear and respond to the sound of my voice. 10. Take the first step down now, relaxing and letting go. 9. Feeling more and more relaxed. No need to hurry. Plenty of time. 8. Moving down easily now. 7. Deeper and deeper. 6. Deeper still. Your breathing becoming slower and steadier. 5. Really relaxing now. Just let go. 4. Becoming calmer and calmer. 3. Calmer still now. 2. More and more relaxed. 1. All the way down now to 0. And now you find yourself in this wonderful garden. You can feel the softness of the newly cut grass beneath your feet, as the scent of masses upon masses of brightly coloured flowers seem to envelope you, and there's the gentle sound of birds singing, echoing faintly in the stillness of the air. It's almost a magical place, stretching into the distance, as far as the eye can see, in all directions, with beautiful shrubs, tall elegant trees, and an ornamental fountain which seems to feed into a gently trickling stream. This fascinates you, and you wander to the edge of the stream and gently lower yourself down onto the soft, grassy bank, and just sit for a while, gazing into the cool, clear water, marvelling at the sense of tranquility that sweeps over you, and listening to the faint sound of the fountain splashing in the pool that feeds this gentle stream. After a little while, you lay back on the grass and gaze up at the clearest of blue skies, and as you relax more and more, your eyes begin to close, and you just drift off into a deep and relaxing sleep. And as you sleep, you have a dream. You dream that your whole body is becoming lighter, lighter and lighter, so light that you feel you must surely begin to float on air at any moment, and then you feel yourself just floating and drifting, gently borne aloft and supported by the softest of warm breezes. And you can somehow see through your closed eyelids that you're floating in a sea of colour, a warm sea of colour that relaxes and comforts you as you just drift, suspended in warmth and colour that seems somehow unreal, and yet at the same time has a comfortingly familiar feel to it. You're aware of misty reds and orange, soft muted yellow tones, gentle greens and blues that seem somehow like clouds, and the deepest, softest indigos and violets that you could have ever imagined. And it begins to dawn on you that you're floating in a rainbow, a magical rainbow, because in this rainbow, time and space doesn't exist in the same way that we usually know it. You might have floated there for just a moment, or for 100 years, maybe for a lifetime, or just perhaps for the blinking of an eye. You could have floated forwards in time, to a time that could be far beyond our future, or maybe back in time, back before your own lifetime. It gradually begins to seem to you that you might even be able to float here for just as long as you wish, with this wonderful relaxed feeling, just floating and drifting through this magical sea of gentle, flowing colours, where time seems to suddenly be of so little importance. You're still pondering on these thoughts when you feel yourself beginning to float gently downwards, lower and lower, softly sinking down through this beautiful rainbow, becoming even more relaxed, even more lazy, until eventually you realise that you've stopped floating downwards and you find yourself on the shore of a tranquil lake, a large tranquil lake surrounded by softly rolling hills that are shrouded in a gentle silver mist. There are trees and sweetly scented flowering shrubs, grass is growing at the water's edge, and everything is bathed in a beautiful golden light, a golden light that seems to bathe everything in its warmth, and you can find yourself marvelling at the sense of deep calmness and comfort that seems to fill your entire being as you stroll lazily along the sandy shore of this wonderful lake, noticing with a sort of lazy curiosity that it seems to be constantly changing colour, subtle changes blending so smoothly that it's difficult for you to know exactly when limpid blue has become a deep, soft violet, or when that deep violet becomes a relaxing, translucent green. The changes of colour fascinate you, and you settle yourself down onto a small, smooth rock and just gaze out across the crystal clear waters. Every so often, something, a fish maybe, just something, just breaks the surface, creating ripples that seem to flow gently and endlessly in all directions. Ripples that eventually lap against the edges of the rock that you're sitting on. You smile and lean forward to dabble your hand amongst them, and as you do so, you create yet more ripples, ripples that shimmer in a kaleidoscope of different colours. across the lake, interacting with the others and making new, ever-changing patterns. You realise that this tranquil place is the pool of all knowledge, that while you are here, you are a part of everything, and everything a part of you. And you find it easy, so very easy, to open your mind, to let go of any barriers to memory or learning. And as you consider this wonderful realisation, you realise that night has fallen, and you realise you are surrounded by a soft, warm, velvet darkness that seems to envelope you in a wonderful sense of warmth and comfort. When you look upwards, you can see 1,000,000 stars glittering in the clearest of midnight skies, some of them seeming so bright that it's almost as if you can reach out and touch them, while others seem so faint you're only just barely aware of their presence. And as you look around you, and your eyes gradually become accustomed to the starlight, you find yourself gazing into a beautiful wooded valley. And deep in the valley, away in the distance, you can see a faint glimmer of light, with a kind of blue tinge that somehow seems to give it warmth and life. The light seems to beckon you, somehow seeming to offer comfort in some way that you don't quite understand as yet. And with a sense of wonderment and curiosity, you rise easily and effortlessly to your feet and begin to make your way lazily along a gently sloping hillside, just catching a faint and delicate tinkling sound that might be temple bells somewhere in the distance. As you move, just following one lazy, easy step with another, a sense of well-being seems to fill your whole body, a sense of tranquility and calmness that begins to increase as your tread becomes steadily lighter, until you can hardly feel your feet touching the ground, and it seems to you as if you must surely be floating on air. Eventually you realise that you've left the slopes of the hillside and you are wandering lazily across a grassy plain. The faint tinkling sound that might be temple bells coming from somewhere in front of you, and as you move closer to that faint glimmer of light, with a gentle blue tinge, it begins to become more distinct, and you realise that it seems to be coming from somewhere far above you, coming from somewhere high and clearest of midnight skies, and extending in a column towards the ground. As you get closer, you can see rays or atoms moving throughout that gentle light, and it may be that you can see those rays moving downwards, or perhaps they seem to be moving upwards, or they might even seem to be moving in a random fashion, and your mind knows what feels best for you. That powerful subconscious mind of yours knows exactly what is right for you, exactly what feels right for you. And as you look up towards the top of that column of white light, it may be that you can see where it comes from, or if it just seems to gather somehow, somewhere, in that clearest of midnight skies. And when you look down to where that column of light meets the ground, it might seem to you that it forms a pool of light, or perhaps it seems to simply disappear completely into the earth. And your mind knows what is the best thing for you. That powerful subconscious mind of yours knows exactly what is right for you, And however that column of light seems to you, that's exactly the right way for it to be for you. And as you look up towards the top of that column of white light, it may be that you can see where it comes from, or if it just seems to gather somehow, somewhere in that clearest of midnight skies. And when you look down to where the column of light meets the ground, it might seem to you that it forms a pool of light, or perhaps it seems to simply disappear completely into the earth. And your mind knows what is the best thing for you. That powerful subconscious mind of yours knows exactly what's the right thing for you. And however that column of light seems to you, that's exactly the right way for it to be for you. And as you gaze in wonderment at the light, you realize that the faint tinkling sound of temple bells seems to be coming from somewhere inside it. You lazily stretch out an arm, allowing the light to play around your fingertips. There's a warmth, a pleasant tingling sensation, a wonderful sense of well-being, and you realize that this column of light has the power to heal, to rejuvenate, to re-energize. And you drift lazily into it, marveling at the sense of well-being and calmness and completeness that surrounds you. Inside this column of light, it's almost a magical place, because it seems to stretch into the distance in all directions as far as the eye can see. It seems to you that you can see waterfalls and rock formations, mountains and forests. There are fountains and ornamental trees, and far away in the distance, a golden domed temple shimmering in a blue-tinted haze. Gradually, you realize that the atoms and rays that surround you are accelerating your body's natural healing processes. Your mind and body's natural resources that allow you to find a wonderful sense of an inner strength, an inner calm. You can actually feel those atoms and rays giving you a sense of health, energy and well-being. Feel those atoms and rays giving you something that is infinitely good, and taking from you all that which is not so good, leaving you feeling totally relaxed, totally comfortable, and totally at ease within yourself. And it may be, while you're there, that you find you can float up to the very top of this column of light, to its very beginnings, to find a truth. Or perhaps you can float downwards towards the pool at its base, or maybe down into the very earth itself, where your mind might find the answers to questions, or maybe rare sources of healing, sources that your mind knows so well, so naturally, how to use. And nobody needs to know what you'll find there, or even where you will travel to while you're in this place. But whatever happens is absolutely the right thing for you. And whatever you find is yours, especially for you, just for you. Whatever you find there is absolutely the right thing for you to find, because that powerful and all-knowing subconscious of yours knows exactly the resources you need. After a while, you realize that it's time to leave this wonderful place, and it's not long before you're making your way back along the valley towards the hillside, with an easy, lazy tread that seems to carry you with hardly any effort at all. So easily are you moving that you scarcely realise you're climbing the hill until you're almost at the very top. And after just a few more steps, you turn to look around you, and it seems as if the whole world is spread out before you, and you can see that faint glimmer of white light down there in the valley in the distance. And you know you can always find it whenever you want to, whenever you need to, simply by going down that hill into the valley in your mind, in that soft velvet darkness. And as you look around you now from your position on the top of the hill, you realise with a sense of wonderment that you're on the very top of the world. You realise that you are absolutely on top of the world, and you decide to rest for a while, just drinking in this wonderful feeling. And after a while you realise that the sun has risen, kissing the land with a gentle golden glow, and you can see that you're on the very top of a green hill on a tropical island. You begin to feel the warmth of the sun on your head and shoulders, and can see the long grasses around you moving slightly in the gentlest of breezes. When you look down the hill, you can see a narrow, winding path that disappears into a small forest, and beyond that forest you can see the ocean with sunlight from the clearest of blue skies glancing off the tops of the waves and the bay, so that the whole ocean seems to shimmer and sparkle. You begin to move lazily and easily down the path, with the ferns and grasses brushing gently against your legs as you pass, and you just catch the faint smell of salt borne in on the breeze, and become aware of the distant sound of the ocean and the shore. Maybe hear seabirds calling faintly from a long way off. You marvel at the deep sense of calmness and tranquility that sweeps over you as you move on down and down towards the forest, moving so easily, so effortlessly, you feel almost as though you're floating on air, and in no time at all you find yourself drifting through the trees, their leaves closing overhead to form a canopy, their branches making an irregular pattern against the clear blue of the sky. It's pleasantly cool in the forest, and the gentle sounds of birds singing, echoing faintly, and the scent of the trees and undergrowth relaxes you still further. As you move easily into the inviting depths, becoming lazier and lazier with each step you take, you can hear a stream somewhere, its gurgling sound gradually mingling with the sound of the ocean. And as you follow the winding path down and down towards the beach that you know is in front of you, weaving through the trees and brushing aside the occasional piece of foliage, until quite suddenly you feel the warmth of the sun on your head and shoulders again, and you find yourself on a beautiful deserted beach, a beautiful golden shoreline sweeping away in a gentle curve in front of you to a distant point where the trees seem to come right down to the shoreline, so that their branches actually seem to overhang the ocean itself. You can feel the sand warm between your toes as you stroll lazily across the broad beach to the water's edge. The sand becomes a darker golden colour when you get there, and you enjoy the change to a moist, firm coolness beneath your feet as you wander along the shore, leaving a lazy trail of footprints in the sand behind you. Every so often, a larger than usual wave sends rivulets of water foaming around your feet, and as they recede, you notice how the sand is washed away from the tiny coloured pebbles, glinting like jewels in the sun, the smell of the ocean, the sunlight on the waves, the sound of the water hissing over the sand. All these things seem to create a sense of timelessness for some unknown reason, and you find yourself a comfortable position, a grassy hollow maybe, to just sit and gaze out across the rolling depths to the horizon, trickling warm golden sand idly through your fingers. There's a faint haze which makes it difficult for you to see exactly where the sky stops and the ocean starts, and as you try to fathom it out, you see a small white cloud appear from somewhere near the horizon. It comes towards the island quite quickly, growing larger as it approaches until it's immediately overhead, the largest, fluffiest, whitest cloud you can ever remember. And you somehow know, just by instinct, that you can let all your worries, all your cares, all your fears just drift up towards this large white cloud, and you can actually see them drifting away from you in a long, slow spiral, maybe like wisps of smoke from a bonfire, just spiraling away from you towards this large white cloud. The cloud absorbs all your worries into itself, swallowing up all your fears and anxieties, and becoming steadily darker all the time, until, just as it reaches its darkest, just as that last part of that spiral of your worries and cares disappears inside it, the sun bursts through, dispelling every one of your worries, every one of your fears and anxieties to the edges of the universe, leaving you totally relaxed and perfectly at ease with yourself, without a single care in the world. And now, all your troubles and cares having floated away from you, you settle yourself down into a comfortable position and just drift off into a deep and relaxing sleep. And while you sleep, you have a dream. You dream you're walking down a long corridor, stretching away in front of you in a long, gentle curve, so long that you can't actually see the end of it, but you know that this corridor is in the very depths of your subconscious mind, in the part of your mind that knows just what to do and just how to do it. And as you begin to move along this beautiful corridor, becoming even more relaxed, even more lazy, you realise that time and space are beginning to lose their meaning, and slowly the walls of the corridor seem to dissolve, leaving you in a large room. The room is full of gentle, golden light that relaxes you still further, and you suddenly realise, with a surge of inspiration and pleasure, that what you once saw as limits are merely stepping stones to greater success. It suddenly dawns on you, with a surge of joy and anticipation, that what once seemed to you to be limits of your personality, of your skills and abilities, are nothing more than stepping stones to even greater success. And from this day forward, you will find yourself beginning to enjoy the process of living more and more, just enjoying being alive, being you, and everything that being you means. While you lie there, so relaxed, you can just let your thoughts drift, and it might be that my voice will just fade into the background as you let your thoughts just drift wherever you want them to. And I can't know if you will actually choose where your thoughts go, or if they will just find a place without you making any effort at all. because just letting your thoughts drift like that is a totally natural process. A natural process that can happen without you making any effort at all. Many processes in the human mind and body are actually designed to work that way, automatically, without the need for any conscious interference. Hearing a sound, for instance, or smelling a smell. And even if you decide to walk from one place to another, you just decide to do it without any conscious thought about how you will actually manage to do that walking process. That walking process is automatic, and it's only necessary for you to decide. It's what you will do, and you can do it almost without any thought whatsoever. And the penis becoming erect is a bit like that. Very few males are conscious of how the penis becomes erect, although they are very aware of the fact that when there is a sexual stimulation present, the stiffening of the penis just happens when it's needed. In fact, many men are very aware that it is more difficult to actually stop the penis becoming big and hard. In fact, it often seems that the penis can become big and hard at the least sign of a sexual stimulus, maybe at a time when they would have preferred that not to happen, because it's an automatic process that when the male mind perceives a sexual stimulus, the penis can become erect, big and hard. It's an interesting thing that some males are somehow taught, when they are just a boy, that it is not a good thing that the penis becomes erect. Taught it such a long time ago that they forgot when they're growing up that they were ever taught such a thing. And of course, I have no idea if you were taught such a thing, and if you were exactly how you were taught it. And maybe it was something that somebody said to you or to someone else while you could hear them. Maybe it was just something you understood, an idea you formed because somebody said something that you did not quite understand. Or maybe it was just because one time something about the penis becoming erect was embarrassing. And I can't know if any of those things were in your life, and you won't remember them at all, even if they were. But I do know, beyond any doubt, that whatever you learned back then, is now completely unimportant, because now you are a grown man, with a grown man's fully functional body. Your penis is part of a fully functional male body, and it can easily and automatically perform the functions it was designed to perform. And one of those functions is to become big and hard when there is a sexual stimulus present. And this is a totally automatic process, where, when there is a sexual stimulus present, your penis automatically becomes big and hard. And this is so because your body works automatically, and this will be at its most noticeable in those private moments with a woman, those moments when it is highly desirable that your body works easily and automatically, so that your penis becomes big and hard without you even thinking about it, because you are so absorbed in the physical closeness of your partner's body against you, and that wonderful feeling of warmth from your partner's body, that wonderful feeling of closeness, will increase the intensity as your penis begins to become bigger and harder. And the wonderful thing is that your partner's body also works automatically, because a female body is designed to respond with sexual pleasure to the evident sexual desires of the male. And as your penis becomes bigger and harder, so your partner's body will also begin to respond automatically, so that she begins to become intensely aware of how desirable you find her. And the more she becomes intensely aware of how desirable you are finding her, the more she will begin to respond to the hardness of your penis, the more sexually aroused she will become. You will discover that as she begins to respond to you, begins to show you just how enjoyable it is for her, that your body is showing her just how much you love her, just how much you find her so physically beautiful, so you will find that the hardness in your penis becomes even more solid, more secure, and you will be able to actually feel it becoming more solid, more secure, so that you can enjoy the exquisite pleasure of a completely shared sexual experience, so that she can actually feel just how beautiful you see that she is. And then you will begin to realize with a sense of joy that she delights in the hardness of your penis, delights in the hardness of your penis just as you do, and you will notice her pleasure as she feels how big and hard your penis is, and how she responds to the feeling of you inside her. And all of this means that from this day forward, you will be able to achieve a perfectly splendid erection whenever it is appropriate to do so. Whenever it is appropriate, your penis will become big and hard, and as your penis begins to become bigger and harder, so you experience a surge of confidence in yourself, a surge of confidence in the way that your body can work so beautifully and so automatically. Your penis is a part of a fully functional male body, and it can easily and automatically perform the functions it was designed to perform. And one of those functions is to become big and hard when there is a sexual stimulus present, and this is a totally automatic process. When there is a sexual stimulus present, your penis automatically becomes big and hard. And this is so because your body works automatically, and this will be at its most noticeable in those private moments with a woman, those moments when it is highly desirable that your body works easily and automatically, so that your penis becomes big and hard without you even thinking about it, because you're so absorbed in the physical closeness of your partner's body against you, and that wonderful feeling of the warmth of your partner's body, that wonderful feeling of closeness will increase in intensity as your penis begins to become bigger and harder. And the wonderful thing is that your partner's body also works automatically, because a female body is designed to respond with sexual pleasure to the evident sexual desires of the male. And as your penis becomes bigger and harder, so your partner's body will also begin to respond automatically, so that she begins to become intensely aware of how desirable you find her. And the more she becomes intensely aware of how desirable you are finding her, the more she will begin to respond to the hardness of your penis, the more sexually aroused she will become. You will discover that as she begins to respond to you, begins to show you just how enjoyable it is for her, that your body is showing her just how much you love her, just how much you find her so physically beautiful, So you will find that the hardness in your penis becomes even more solid, more secure, and you will be able to actually feel it becoming more solid, more secure, so that you can enjoy the exquisite pleasure of a completely shared sexual experience, so that she can actually feel just how beautiful you see that she is. And then you will begin to realize with a sense of joy that she delights in the hardness of your penis, delights in the hardness of your penis, just as you do. And you will notice her pleasure as she feels how big and hard your penis is, and how she responds to the feeling of you inside her. And all of this means that from this day forward, you will be able to achieve a perfectly splendid erection whenever it is appropriate to do so, whenever it is appropriate. Your penis will become big and hard, and as your penis begins to become bigger and harder, so you experience a surge of confidence in yourself, a surge of confidence in the way that your body can work so beautifully and so automatically. Okay, in a moment I'm going to bring you back to the here and now. I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and when I get to 5, you will be able to open your eyes easily and effortlessly. You will feel refreshed, relaxed, and feel good in every way. Okay, if you're ready. 1, 2, 3, start to move your legs, move your arms. 4, feel the bed or the chair that you're lying on. And 5, eyes wide open